All right, we're live. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the first of hopefully many streams where we talk about modding in Cantata. I'm Kyle Cookstow, a programmer on Cantata, and I'm joined with After School's newest member, Rogue Fong.
Hi, yeah, I'm Rogue Fong. I'm the gameplay developer at After School and working on lots of fun features as we move through the development of Cantata. Super excited to show you what's going on with the modding here.
Yeah, so just for a quick overview of this video, I'm gonna bring up my, I've already lost my modding guidelines. Here we go. So quick overview of the video. What we're gonna try to do in this video is show everyone, like generally like what we're talking about when we talk about modding terrains in Cantata, and then also kind of show you how to do that. So if you're watching live on Twitch or you're watching on YouTube or Steam or wherever, feel free to send us questions now, but also know that this video will go live on our YouTube later, so if you miss it, you can refer to it later. And this is the first of hopefully a series of streams, probably like at least 4, maybe 5, where we kind of make an overhaul mod from scratch. So there'll be other chances if you miss like one stream or whatever, you can come back to another one or comment on the YouTube video. We'll try to hit whatever people want to talk about. But I think we should just get into it and just talk about
Let's
what
do
is
it.
what is a terrain? What is a terrain in Cantata?
Yeah, so take a look.
So I'm gonna just make a new map in Cantata. And so the first thing here, if you aren't aware, Cantata ships with a built-in scenario editor. So anyone that has access to the game has access to basically build a map. By default, we give you some set of terrains you can work with. So I don't know, Rogue, what do you think we should do just to get started with what we got built in?
Yeah, I think we should just start with a clean slate.
Cool. So I'm just gonna
Yeah,
grab, I don't know, this white tile.
yeah, white's good.
All right, and I can just sort
No
of paint it
tile.
in. So one thing that's sort of cool about the scenario editor is that it's got these like paintbrush-esque tools, so it makes working with terrains really quick. So you can really just, fully change what a map looks like really quickly. So there's just a lot of garbage there. All right, what
Nice.
next?
All right, let's zoom in and maybe start on one side of the map.
Like this corner?
Try to yeah, I'm thinking building kind of like a cove or some kind of
A cove. Ooh, like
yeah, a little
some
cove.
water maybe.
Yeah, water would be nice.
All right, so let's grab this
Maybe
water
line the edge
then.
of the map.
Yeah, what if I just put a big chunk of water here?
Oh, that's kind of nice.
The sprites will also be animated in the final version. Right now, we're sort of in between some stuff. So just imagine in your mind that, this is animating and flowing beautifully. All right,
Yeah,
so
I like that color. Maybe we can find that green grass or that blue-green grass
this
looks
one,
kind of nice. Yeah. Maybe we can
add a little
add
bit
that
there.
out there. Yeah, kind of make maybe less a cove and more a peninsula.
Oh, peninsula. So maybe it like comes off the side of the map here.
Yeah.
And so we're placing these terrains down. And one thing to also keep in mind is that these terrains are not just visual. So, it looks like these things they just change what the terrain looks like. But every terrain actually has properties. And we'll sort of talk about those probably in the next stream. Right now, we're just going to talk to you more about generally the concept of terrains in Cantata. But know that when we're placing these things down, we're actually sort of changing the gameplay structure of the map. So, for example, just a really quick example, if you're trying to move from this land over to this land and your unit didn't have the ability to move on water, this is essentially an isolated area of the map. So it's not just a visual thing, we're actually kind of changing the gameplay of the map as we build it. So what else should go on our peninsula?
Maybe some mountains in the corner there. Uh, yeah,
Yeah,
just kind of
some white
maybe
ones.
maybe we could randomize. Yeah, some white snowy ones. There's also some of those blue ones which look nice. We
You
could
mentioned
randomize some of
randomizing.
those.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So one cool thing about Cantata is that when you load a terrain in, each terrain, and we'll show that a little bit later, has got a dedicated sprite sheet. And so those sprite sheets, we can kind of access those however we want to. And when Rogue talks about randomizing a terrain, what that means is that we can actually select a random sprite from that sprite sheet to be able to randomly place down stuff so we can kind of get visually interesting versions of a map without having to like individually click and place. So I can just do that by clicking a terrain and then holding R. And if I just drag it, it's just going to grab a random terrain from that sheet. So maybe like outline it a little bit.
yeah, that's looking pretty good.
Yeah.
And we can kind of force any units to go through some other area. Maybe there's a land bridge.
Yeah, I was thinking maybe we need like a little small, very thin land bridge there. And we can add some like
Nice, yeah.
some similar mountains on the other side.
Hmm.
Very, very skinny pass.
Yeah. So similar with the water, the mountains also can restrict certain units' movements
Right.
throughout the map. So we're continually artificially constraining the movement on the map.
Yeah, so right
Just
now,
like
like you're talking about, there's a very interesting little path here. So just even like a few seconds, right, we've essentially built some like, this is Sparta standoff area because these mountains have gameplay properties that make it so that bigger units can't go on those tiles. We've now essentially funneled this into this little small area. So if someone had a unit here, they would actually be defending that pass. So instead of, again, it's not just visual, you know, it could be totally visual if you want it to be. We've got more stuff like that. But what we're doing now is just really quickly just making like, oh, let's just build a mountain pass. And now all of a sudden there's an interesting gameplay thing that's happening here. What else?
Let's see. Let's scroll through some of those terrains. Oh, some trees could be nice. Just give it a little visual interesting.
What do you think? The green
Things to
ones?
look at. The green ones could be cool.
Just like some sparse.
Yeah.
And grab these too.
Maybe the snowy ones on the other side. Yeah.
Oh yeah, okay, because it's snowy over here. It would make sense. Maybe like a. It feels like Narnia a little bit. Like you're going into this like open.
Yeah.
Mr. Tumnus will be hanging out over there.
Yeah, with his Turkish delight.
Yeah. We need a lamp. I don't know if we have a lamppost in here. We do have these cool ruins, so maybe this is our like Mr.
Yeah.
Tumnus lamppost. And then we can. I think I have a clean white tile. Yeah. There you go.
Nice.
That's vibey.
Yeah. It's vibey, definitely.
Anything else you want to do over here?
Let's see. Maybe some pink trees because I'm into the trees.
The pink trees are good.
Yeah. So the color scheme is just beautiful in this game.
I'm already like, I want to play on
So
this map.
excited.
I'm ready to play on this map.
Yeah.
Maybe there's like a weird, like, I don't know, something happened
The
over here.
ruins, like this could be a spawn point, maybe the beginning of a skirmish.
Yeah, maybe we'll add like another fun thing you can do in the scenario editor is that you can actually take a terrain and then you can combine these shortcuts. So what I'll do here is I actually take I'll take the ruin tiles and I'll put them on the map as a big brush size, but then I'll make them sparse. So it kind of just like scatters them. So I'll just explain that over here on this other side of the map. So I'll grab this ruin tile. And if I was just to do a really big brush normally, it would place all of the same tile. Or I could come over here and I could use a big brush and do a random selection, which will place random tiles. And you can see we've got some gaps in our tile sheet. Or what I can also do is I can actually filter how many tiles my brush selects. So if I click the ruins again and I do a big brush and I do move my desk, a random selection, and then I filter them, so you can kind of just like pop stuff down really easily. So that kind of, it randomly selects those tiles too. So if we just want to throw some ruins over here, I can click this ruin.
Yeah, maybe at a 3 or 4 size.
Yeah, let's do it. That's a good
And
idea.
the brush size is dependent on a key that you press. Just numbers 1 through 5 are the.
Oh, I forgot to press the
That's
random
looking
button.
pretty good.
Let me do that again. Oh, where's the...
Kind of like a weird Stonehenge.
Yeah. We should definitely build Stonehenge. You need to build Ireland. Is Stonehenge? I think Stonehenge is in Ireland. I'm pretty sure. All right, 3R and then filter. Boop. There we go.
Nice.
And then, we'll clean these up a little bit. That looks pretty good already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Should we maybe just drop an interactable and see what it might look like when we're playing the game?
Let's do it. Oh, there's some. These are all secret new interactables. We haven't actually showed these off yet. So this is like a little peek. Maybe I'll grab. I like this one here. I won't talk about what it is, but I'll just call this intro. Oops. Kupanik in the chat asks if there's a Control Z. There is not a Control Z right now. We implementing an undo feature would be very, very great. And I could think of ways to do it, but it's one of those things it's very great to have, but also very hard to do. So at some point I'd love to have one. What I hope though is that you're never too far away from sort of reverting the thing that you did. So if you do something that you're like, oh no, then it'd be pretty easy to change it. And there's nothing that's like, there's very few things in the snare editor that will really mess up your map. So it should be easy enough for you to just change them up really fast. So I'll save that and I'll pop out of here and I'll go back to my skirmish and I'll just play on that map. And there we go. We're playing on the game. We're playing on the map. So I can move this unit around and stuff and go explore. Actually, let me change one thing really fast just so we can do that.
Mm-hmm.
Please ignore the man behind the green mask. I don't remember what they say in Wizard of Oz.
Behind the curtain.
Behind the curtain, yeah. So I'm just gonna, we'll talk
green
about
mask is something else.
This, we'll talk about more, I think, in 2 streams. So if you like seeing spreadsheets of units, then oh buddy, got some fun stuff around the corner. Aspects, move, add range. All right. And so now I'm going to go back in here just so we can see that unit moving around on our map.
Yeah.
So here we are. So now if I click this, there it goes.
Nice.
So we could just play on that now.
Note,
yeah.
Go
ahead.
Is that all of this terrain affects the visibility of this unit, this interactable. So you can see this kind of atypical grid Kyle, if you hover over the unit for the move. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
The terrain affects where you can go. That's what you're seeing with the blue outline, and it also affects the visibility, which is why pretty much everything is dark on the outside. Maybe you should go one more onto the land bridge and
you want to go see Narnia?
Show that we can see. Yeah, let's go. Let's go see Narnia. I want those Turkish delights. You can see now the vision has increased. You can see more light tiles in the water.
There we go. And you can see too, when I was talking about earlier about having that sort of pass, this unit right now, just because I really roughed it in, can't actually move onto water. So you can see that, its only path is this little land bridge here. So like we were able to place that down and not even think about it. But now we've sort of created this interesting circumstance where this could be like a huge choke point on a map. You could put a unit there. Units can block other units too for moving through things. So it's not like, oh, there's a unit there, I can just move through it, which is sort of more the case in like Advanced Wars or like Wargroove or whatever. You can actually have units sort of occupy, they're like embodied on the tile, which makes stuff really interesting. Yeah, you want me to go all the way to Narnia and we can talk about new terrains?
Yeah, one more turn.
All right, here it goes. There it is. Mr. Tumnus just said hello. We could have added a trigger in the snare editor actually that let it say hello, welcome to Narnia when you got there, but again, more stuff for later. We'll tease the other scenario stuff. So the point of the stream though is that what we want to talk about is more like, if you want to build a sci-fi map, we will give you those tiles basically. We'll have all of like the fun. Oops, don't go to lineup. Oh, behind the curtains again. We'll have like all the tiles that we use in Cantata. You'll have access to as part of this modding tool set. So it's not like you need to always bring in your own stuff. However, if you want to like make a totally different map or something, this stream, what we're going to talk about the rest of this stream is what it means to actually bring your own sort of custom tiles into the game.
Yeah. And this is beginner friendly. I am not really a pixel artist, nor do I know how to do much of this stuff. So we're all gonna work together, learn together, and it's pretty easy. Get you up and running in no time.
Yeah, and also we got a few people in the chat. Does anyone have any questions before we go on? I just want to take a moment to, actually just keep this running. But if no one's got any questions, we can go on. But I'll stop a beat just for anyone who has anything they want to ask. Also, sorry, any friends on, actually, I'm gonna go check YouTube really fast just to make sure that no one's hanging out there asking questions. Oops.
We created Dungeon Alchemist.
Ooh,
I can also keep that open.
yeah. And mission. Trying to go to my channel and see if anyone's got any. 2 people watched on YouTube. Hello, YouTube people. Actually, I'm trying to figure out how to. Oh, there we go. Oh, Kupanik, sorry, you were on YouTube. I didn't realize that you were talking over in the YouTube channel. So it does have a map editor, as you saw. Earlier question, Kupanik asked the game had a map editor. Hamrick asks, will you be able to create your own factions and units as well? Yes. Huge thing. You can totally, it's, the stream is dedicated to doing sort of an overhaul mod. So you can basically reskin the whole game as well as change all the actual gameplay features. So that includes factions, units, terrains, maps, the whole shebang. It's all possible.
Yeah.
Custom units and factions will be later. We'll talk about it in a different stream, but that stuff is definitely possible.
Yeah. This is pretty much anything you would need to make your own strategy game.
Yeah. I think one of the words that has sort of been circling is this idea of kind of like Cantata is almost like RPG Maker for strategy games. So obviously it won't be like as free form as RPG Maker, but if you care about tactical movement, isometric maps, generally AP systems, supply or whatever, we are giving you the tool set to do that. So you can sort of think of Cantata, the game, as like one version of what these systems can do, but nothing was stopping you from recombining them to be something totally different. And that's, let me check. I'm gonna go check in Steam as well if anyone's in there, and then if not, I'll move on. I don't know if you want to add anything to that, Rogue.
No, I think you pretty much covered it. When we show Depot in a little bit,
Yeah.
you'll see how endless the possibilities are. Everything is driven by configuration. So Cantata, what we're building, knows nothing except for what you put into it. So Cantata is just one way to build the game.
Exactly.
I
Okay,
like
cool.
that gold tile, nice.
Yeah, just rechange the map. Okay, so we are gonna now bring in some new terrains to the game, and we're gonna basically change the whole look of the map, hopefully within the scope of this stream. So, first step 1, we'll probably flash up in the in like the actual archive of this what I'm about to talk about. But one thing that is important to know for Cantata is that in Cantata, all of the terrain sprites are 64 by 64 pixels per sprite, and then the maps can sort of vary in size. What we do though is we provide you with a template that you can use as a guide. So I'm gonna pull up a sprite here. And I'm gonna use a sprite just because I like using it, if I can remember how to spell a sprite. But it doesn't mean that you can't use like paint or like whatever else you wanna use. So I'm gonna just open up, I've got this debug template here. I'm gonna copy this and just call it, I don't know. I'm just gonna call this
Template?
Yeah, I'll call it template for now. And then I'll open this up. So this is kind of the general format of what a terrain looks like. Oops, I forgot how to zoom in. Every program has a different way to zoom in. There we go. And I'll just show you for reference as well what like one of these other ones looks like. So when we were placing down those ruins, for example, they look like this. So it's the same sort of format where this is if you want to have a 16 size. You can also do different sizes. I can't remember if we support one that's twice as big as this, but you can do ones that are like, you can literally make a whole mod that's just a single 64 by 64 sprite. These are 256 by 256. And as you can see, if I turn on the grid here, they all break down into 64 by 64 tiles. So pretty simple, relatively standard format. But the thing we want to do is we actually want to build our own thing. So I'm going to go ahead and turn on the grid here.
Let's build something that doesn't look at all like Cantata.
Yeah, and I think, so like Rogue was talking about, you don't actually have to be an artist necessarily to make tiles. You're just loading art in. So if you want to be the person on like a team that you've got that wants to like make a cool mod together, you can be the person that conforms all the assets versus the person that creates them. And I'm going to be acting like I'm doing that. So I'm not a pixel artist. The person who does all the art might actually be watching the stream, but so I'm just going to pull in art from somewhere else instead of trying to quickly draw really fast. Although you could do that. You know, if you're really great, you could just draw some stuff on here. But I'm going to go, let's see. So here's Open Game Art. This is a website that has, it's sort of dedicated for people publishing open source game art often. So it's art that doesn't have a license. You can just use in your game, provided you follow whatever their specific license requirements are. So this is a great place to pull stuff in from. So we're just going to look for some stuff on Open Game Art that we can just use to pull in to show that you don't actually have to like draw the art yourself. You can just bring in stuff. And one thing that's also lucky for us too is that the 64 by 64 format that we use for isometric tiles is actually pretty standard. So if I search in here for just isometric, we already, even it's right here, right off the bat, isometric 64 medieval building. So it doesn't even like need, it's not even like it's a weird format. Most stuff that is isometric, at least it's sort of like this pixel art scale, will follow this format. So I don't know, how do you feel about a medieval tile set?
Let's check it out. Let's look and see what they've got there.
What we got going on here. Ooh.
That looks pretty fun. I like
and it's definitely not
the
Cantata.
castle vibes.
Yeah.
No, definitely not.
Very, very
Like
different.
the staircases, that's kind of interesting. The
Yeah, building
buildings,
like
we can make nice houses.
Yeah.
Kind of maybe
Oh, you
make
do
like
interiors.
some kind of little village or town inside a walled city.
Oh yeah, doing the really tall walls would be interesting because we don't really have anything like that in Cantata. So if someone
Yeah.
wanted to make a weird like RPG or something, they could actually build. Yeah, actually, that'd be fun to try to rebuild this wall in the game. Just
Yeah,
even just
that'd be
this little
interesting
thing.
for sure.
I'm gonna download this. What do you think?
I think
Yeah?
so. Let's do it. Yeah.
And it's also worth, if you are doing this in like the final version of the tool set, it is worth checking someone's license to make sure. So this person's license is Creative Commons by, which I think tells you, yeah. So all you have to do for this license is just give attribution. So if you were going to make a mod that uses this art, you would just need to in your mod say like, oh, these sprites are from, and then link to the sprite. We're not actually publishing this, so I'm just going to use this really fast for a demo. But then if I was to actually publish it to the like sort of modding workshop thing for Cantata, then I would need to attribute it. So, you know, attribute artists.
Mr. Super Happy Pants says he found a bunch of weird stuff on the site.
Our site?
A lot of interesting. No, on Open Game Art.
Oh yeah, Open Game Art has got a ton of like, the quality is all over the place. Luckily, this one's really good, but you can find some very strange things on Open Game Art. Another place too, I mean, like if you really want to, itch.io, a lot of people post assets here. So if I just look for, I don't know, isometric sprites, yeah, right off the bat here, there's some blocks, some sprites, can make a roguelike. Maybe we'll do a stream about making a roguelike in Cantata. So
Oh yeah, that'd be interesting.
tons of stuff. It's around if you want it. All right, so I'm gonna open this up in A Sprite. Where did A Sprite go? Here it is. So I'm just gonna open this up from my downloads. Oops, a little CO preview there. So this is what the sprite sheet looks like. So this we don't necessarily want to try to just import this directly. What we need to do is actually conform it so that it fits the format that Cantata expects. We have like there's a lot of ways inside of Cantata to do that sort of, but what I'm going to generally do is just use this 4x4 format, and we'll split up this sprite sheet into like groups that sort of like make sense
Semantic
together.
groups. Yeah.
semantic groups is a great way to put it. Yeah. So I think the first thing for us to do is to sort of isolate in here, which things that we want to pull into the first one. So what do you think?
Yeah. Let's grab some flooring. I see there's wooden floors and the brick floors. Those brick floors at top.
Oh yeah, these stones, and then
Mm-hmm.
okay. So let me
And maybe we
go
can
ahead.
maybe put do you see that little well on the right-hand side, third from the bottom? Do you think those would go in with
The
the flooring,
grounds.
or should we put that somewhere else?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good question. So when you're bringing in sprites, the thing to keep in mind is that if they're on the same sprite sheet, they're considered basically the same terrain. So I guess when you're trying to group stuff, it's like, do we think that is like a piece of wood the same thing as walking on a path of stone? Because
Yeah.
Cantata assumes if it's in the same sheet, it is the same thing. And so there's not really any cost to making a new sprite sheet if those are different. And I think like maybe in like a game, like if you're gonna try to build your own version of something like Into the Breach, and you've got like a 5x5 map, walking on stone versus walking on wood may be like a really big difference. So you actually want them to be separate. For us, I think because we're probably gonna just build the big map, we can probably say that they're the same thing. But if you wanted to actually split them up, you could just split them up.
Yeah. It is important to note that if you are randomizing the tiles like we were before with the ruins, then you might end up with a whole mishmash of a bunch of stone tiles next to wooden tiles.
Right, right, right. I think we can just pull them together then, personally.
Yeah, let's do that. I think that's fine.
All right, so I'm going to grab these first few here, and I'm going to go over to my template and just start basically pasting them in. So I'm just going to line them up so that the edges fit perfectly with where my game expects them. And then what I can also do is I can just turn off. Actually, I'm going to make a new layer, and I'll paste it into the new layer because then we can reuse this. Oops. We can reuse this same map to save different files. All right, so there's our first few, and I'm just gonna go in here. What else we got? Do you want to do these tall ones? Are they the same thing, or are those sort of maybe those are like walls actually?
Yeah, I think those should go on their own sheet.
So we can do this one then. So I'll put that here. Oops. And then what else? Oh, these two.
Yeah, those two down there. I think those are the only floors that I'm seeing.
I think I saw another one. I guess do we want to do these two? These well tiles?
Those could be interesting. Yeah,
Yeah, I'll throw them in there.
why not? A Roman bath-esque
Ooh, yes.
irrigation
Tactics bath game.
tactics bath game.
Tactical bath game.
What? I don't want to know what that is.
All right, so I'm gonna go ahead
Unless it
and
takes place in Bath.
yeah. Ooh, a bath game based in Bath that'd be good. All right, I'm gonna save this. I'm just gonna save it into. I'm gonna make a new folder here just so I can keep this organized and just call this medieval. And then I'm gonna save this as we'll call this floor. Okay.
And let's load up Cantata with that first.
Oh, you just want to put
So
them
we can
in,
just
just see
see
what it
that.
looks like?
Yeah,
Really
yeah.
quickly?
And we can
All right.
go with the buildings.
I'll pull them in. Okay, so the first thing, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna keep loading some of those sprites in, but the first thing we wanna do is I'm just gonna show you really quickly what it means to put a new terrain into the game. So again, keeping in mind right now that I'm not coding anything, right? I'm not like having to go in and like edit files or like whatever. It's all just sort of this, and all of the modders, assuming that everyone's watching this is probably a modder of some sort, or is interested in modding the game, you don't have to do any coding. The game is totally data driven. So if you edit these basically mod files with this interface, the game will just load them in. So over here, I've got my terrains, and all I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna add in a new terrain here, and I'll call this medieval floor. I'll assign that sprite sheet here. So inside my data, I have art, terrains, base, medieval. I'll assign this to my floor tile, and I should see it appear right there. There it is. I'll call this just floor or something. Oops. Floor. And then I need to kind of set the configuration on this really quickly. So one thing I'll do is I'm going to go down to my tile map config here. So the total number of sprites on this sheet. So looking at this, there's 8 sprites. So I'll just set that here. And then I can ignore everything else. And then I'll just turn this on to be that. I'll save that. And now I'm going to come back into Cantata and it's just going to work. So there's no like editing something, changing something, doing a file, whatever. It's like you edit it there and then it works in game. You could have blinked or just like kind of not paid attention for the last 30 seconds and you would have missed the whole workflow because it's so fast. So I'm going to just press play to start Cantata. I'm going to go to my modding here and I'm going to make a new scenario and I'm going to call this one medieval or something. So I think once again here, I'm just going to clean off the map just to give us a basic starting point. And then clean off the map, clean off the map. Okay, so now if I scroll over here, I can see that there's my tiles loaded in the game. So
all just showed up.
Just showed up. They have all the same features and functionality that any of this other stuff that we add has. So there's no like, oh, well, you've got to like do this thing and you don't really have this part because you have to, do this special thing. It just works. So if I click this tile, for example, I've got a big brush. I can just put that down. I have the same thing. I can choose a random tile. I also have the same access to like making them be sparse. All that stuff just works like right out of the box. So, I mean, I didn't do any coding. I didn't have to like change stuff. I didn't even have to open up a JSON file and change values. Like if you've ever modded something like Crusader Kings or any of the Paradox games or even stuff like Civ, you actually got to still go into those files. We provide you a really easy interface to just load data directly into the game. So you want to put down some floor real fast?
Yeah, let's do it.
Just set
also,
the baseline.
Kupanik is saying that they're very excited that Cantata will allow this for modding because Unity game files are scripted and can't modify them. So
yes. Yeah, so
we're happy to be able to provide this.
Yeah, and I think that some people have asked us before about adding in actual custom scripts versus just art and stuff. And what our general goal is to make it so that you have enough access to things through all of the sort of fields we expose that it should feel as if you have the ability to script stuff directly. And we'll see a lot more of that when we talk about interactables and units and buildings. But ideally, you shouldn't need to add in additional scripts. We also won't allow it for now just because that's a whole different thing. Maybe, Cantata 2, Cantata 3, we can add in custom scripts. But for now, the goal is to provide you sort of as much flexibility as possible with the core sort of system. So yeah, and I think to your point, even though Cantata is built in Unity, we've sort of made a way where it's easy to get sort of data into it. So, all right, what do you want to do for this ground first?
Let's maybe try to build the interior of some kind of walled city, just the stone ground.
Yeah. Oh, this is why we should split it up because then it's easier to just place down stone. Right now we're going to have sort of a mixture.
Yeah.
What we can do is we can sort of get at the same idea. So I'm just going to do like a big brush of just this stone, and then I'll just lay it down as sort of a base layer. And then I'll grab another one of these and I'll make a big brush and then do it sparsely. And so that sort of mixes it up a little bit and then sort of do this one and then, yeah.
Nice. All right. And then maybe let's use one of those wooden paths. You see the one that has the lighter?
These guys?
Yeah, let's maybe build a path from one side to another.
Like this?
Yeah.
If only we had an undo.
Or we could, if there were medieval carts or carriages. Those could be like
Oh yeah.
lanes.
Maybe we could find some of those when we do the unit episode.
Oh
Some
yeah,
like
that'd be
nice
pretty
medieval
cool.
like horses or something, or just
Yeah.
build a little scene. I definitely sort of hope people use Cantata almost as like an art tool, because there are sort of art brush-esque things. So having the ability to just like build weird isometric art would be really fun. And I'm gonna come in here and just grab a small brush and make it sparse, just to sort of like, oops, just break up that pattern a little bit so it looks a little
Nice.
different.
That looks pretty good.
Oops. So
All
it
right,
makes,
I
it
think
makes it a
this
little
is a
more
good
visually good.
start. Let's try to bring in some of those housing and wall
Cool.
tiles.
All right, so I'm just gonna save this then, and then I'm gonna just close the game, and I'm gonna go back to a sprite. All right, so which ones do you want to do next?
I think the wall tiles make sense.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna grab these. I'll throw these in. Oh, these work perfectly right there. And maybe all these too. These are all sort of like walls of
Yeah.
different sizes. So that's lined up. And then grab this one, throw it in here. Also, just want to tell everyone thanks for stopping by for the stream. We've got like a few people in the chat hanging out. Excited that everyone's like came to see what we're working on. Do you think these little tiles here should be part of the walls with these little doors and stuff?
Yeah, I think so. Maybe not the. Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Whoa, didn't want to do that. All right, so pull that in. And then...
Kind of want to put the roofs on them, like built-in
Oh yeah, we can just throw the roofs in really quick too.
closets. Yeah. Like weapons storage or something.
Oh, I'm
In the
already
wall.
thinking of like ways that you could have it where you can like load weapons.
Oh, yeah.
Like if you have to go to a tile to like equip a weapon or something.
Yeah, that could be fun.
Okay.
I
Are there
like
any
that
other
idea.
like walls? I think it's all of them. These.
I don't
and
think
then
there's any
these.
exterior walls.
We could add on some. You want to add the stairs in, or should those be
I think that
separate?
could be a detail. Maybe there's a detail sheet for those little chimneys um,
Yeah.
and
Yeah. So we'll just
roofs,
keep the
'cause
walls
we're
like
probably
this.
gonna be, yeah, like we won't be randomizing the roofs because we have to be strategic about that. So I think those could go
Yeah.
on a tile sheet with the roofs.
Okay. Yeah. So I'll just keep these here then. Also, Mr. Super Happy Pants asked, does the modding functionality extend stuff like this? And then Mr. Super Happy Pants posted the Withering City tile sheet, which
Oh, look at
I can't tell if you're a plant. Do I know you? Because I'm just gonna bring this up from. Let me bring it up from their Twitter profile. This was actually. Let me bring it in here. So we actually built a mod out of that tile set. So when I was actually testing this out, I imported these tiles in, and then was able to like actually put these on the map and then build a whole map out of it. So even though they're not pixel art, these are just like 2D PNGs. And the same thing that we're doing now for the medieval tile set, I was able to just bring them in exact same way. I think I even did it in Sprite, or I might have done it in Photoshop. And then just the same way I loaded all of them up, and then we were able to put them in the game. So it doesn't have to be pixel art. So we're doing pixel art because Cantata's pixel art-ish stuff, but you can have whatever sort of art you want to have in the game to be whatever you want it to be. So if you want to do like an illustrated like 2D style thing, you can draw your own trees or whatever. That's totally possible. There's no limitation. The only limitation is that the sprites are 64 by 64. So if it's some stuff looks better at that resolution than others, but it is what it is. Got to draw the line somewhere. You can actually combine stuff to do other bigger things, which I think will sort of show a little bit here. So if you did want to do like a really big illustrated thing, there's ways to do that by sort of hacking the frame. But for now, we're just sort of focusing on more basic use cases. So
Yeah, that was really impressive, Mr. Super Happy Pants.
yeah. So we got these wall tiles here. I'm gonna go ahead and save this as well, and then we can let's do like a few more sheets, and then we'll bring all those in. So I'm gonna save this as I'll call it stone wall, and then do another layer. I'm gonna go check chat again real fast. Anyone else is saying anything? Everyone's just hanging out. All right, people are all good.
Yeah.
So next we got. So we did this. We did the walls. We did the floors. What do you want to do next?
Let's just throw in some roof tiles.
Roof tiles.
Maybe like yeah.
Like these ones.
The roofs, the stairs, and maybe those chimneys, brick chimneys.
And do some of those. I might put the stairs on a different one just because the tiles all have to be named the same thing. If you mouse over this, we want it to say roof. You don't want to mouse over stairs and it say roof.
Yes.
Unless you put stairs as your roof, you know. I was playing Valheim recently. I believe I had some stairs as my roof. So David New says hello. Hello, David. Good to have you joining us today. All right, so I'm going to grab this, throw it in here. And this is the... You know, in the stream, this is a Yakety Sax montage. Should play right now while I'm just cutting and pasting sprites. And like, I'm not a pixel artist. I don't know if you just joined this stream. I did not draw these sprites. I just grabbed them from Open Game Art, and I'm just pulling them in because that's how easy it is. You don't have to be an artist. You can make really bad sprites. You could have a really like bad map, and that would be also totally fine. Like a hand-drawn sort of like kid pics map would be.
Oh, kid pics.
That'd be actually really fun, like a weird sort of like old school Mac stream.
Yeah. Like
hand-drawn animations or something. All right.
Yeah, like droopy slime. It's colored slime.
Yeah. All right, so I'm gonna save this now. So we got roofs. All right, we'll do one more and then we'll bring these in. Save as roof. Bringing it in. All right.
And I think
what else?
Definitely exterior walls.
These like these things here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The ones that don't have the wooden
side
tiles on them, just for the sake of time.
All right, so we'll grab. Is that all of these? This whole top row, I think, is exterior walls.
Mm-hmm. And he's being very meticulous on the pixels because real estate is expensive.
That's a guiding
and also you don't want
real estate.
Yeah, and you also don't want any of the pixels hanging over into other sprites. Otherwise, when you be painting, you might end up having some stray brown pixels or something else, and that'd be traveling along with whatever you're painting.
Right, because these tiles they're not actually necessarily next to the things that appear next to them in the sprite sheet. Like this might just be on something that's totally different. So we want to make sure that the art for a single tile is contained inside that sprite. I messed up a second. I got to redo these, but there's not a ton of these, right? This is just.
No,
I think this is the last
I think
one.
that would even suffice. Yeah.
Yeah, because these are all interiors.
I guess there's some down there.
Oh, here we go. Yeah, these
at the
are
bottom.
All, yeah. I can't forget these. And these sprites are just. I mean, this is a really nice tile sheet to work with because they're all sort of like good and ready to go. For that Withering City tile sheet I posted a second ago, that required a little bit more cleanup just because the format of that was not meant to be the format that I was using it for. So I had to like erase stuff and like, delete sort of stray pixels and stuff. Whereas these are just clean. So these just go straight in, which is super nice. I'm actually we have like, there's two more sprites here, or these, There's 4, 5. Yeah, so I'm just gonna save this as exterior wall 1. Yep. And then I'm gonna make a new layer, and then I'm gonna just add in these here. That 4? Yeah. And so one thing that's sort of cool in Cantata is that it's not like there's not a direct mapping of like only one tile sheet per terrain. You can sort of like a little bit like hack the format so that you can actually have essentially as many tiles as you want to be recognized as the same type of thing. And I'll show you what I mean with that a little bit in a little bit. So I'll grab these, and then this is exterior 2. One limitation is that you can't like randomly select from multiple tile sheets. So if that's a big important thing for you, then that will be a little harder. But you can still do that thing I did where you just sort of randomly place stuff on top of itself. All right, exterior wall 2. Should we throw these in?
Yeah, I think we should.
Okay, cool. So I'm gonna go back in here. And so we'll talk a little bit about this while we're here now, just so you kind of understand more of what's going on. This is a CMod file. So if you're modding Cantata, you'll be dealing with these files. We provide an interface to be able to edit them. Underlying this is just sort of as actually a big like JSON data structure. But for this, we basically make it so you don't have to deal with that. This editor gives you a visual way to edit that. And we'll talk a little bit more about how you get access to this, but long story short is that, it's open source, anybody can use it. It's really easy to install, no like coding required. It should almost just be as turnkey as possible, which is a super important thing for us, is to kind of like unblock everyone on making mods. So I don't remember how many.
And again, this is what we're using to build Cantata, so
Right.
You get all the tools that we get.
Yeah, you can even see here that this is our core mod. So when you were making your own mod, you'll have an empty sheet, and you'll be bringing in your own stuff. For this game, for this video right now, we're just basically hijacking the one that we're already using, just so it's a little easier. So I think we added 4 more. I'm just going to add in these sprites here. So terrains, so we have, how many did we add? Yeah, we added 4. Okay. So I'll add the stone wall first, and we'll call this medieval wall. So this is just the ID of it. This doesn't actually appear in game. This is what actually appears in game, which is the name of the tile. So I'll call this just wall or something. But then I need to add in my configuration here. So looking at this, I can see that there's 10 sprites. So I'll do 10. One thing to point out here is that so when we actually load sprites in from Cantata, the tiles need to sort of be next to each other. So if you have spaces or gaps in them, like if you say 10 sprites here, Cantata, or if I said 5 sprites here, Cantata expects that they're sort of left to right, top to bottom. So if you say that there's 5 sprites, we expect that there's a sprite here, 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 and here. If you said there were 8 sprites or whatever, we would actually create 3 other terrains that are empty. So you just want to set that to be the right amount and make sure there's no gaps in your tile sheet, which we didn't do. So it should be fine. So 10 sprites, and then I'll just ignore the generator stuff. I'm just going to add this in really fast. This is there's like a sort of very rudimentary map generation system that you could tie into if you wanted to, but there's no requirement. I'm just going to add in these other 3 sheets. So we added in the medieval walls. What was the other one? Added in, medieval exterior wall. Medieval.
I feel like the possibilities here are endless as well. I don't know if anyone watching has any ideas of what they'd make, but I could see underwater maps.
Ooh,
too.
like a water level?
Yeah. Or a total space map, just kind of have a black tile in the endless vast space.
Oh yeah.
Be interesting.
I have a Cantata mod that I want to make that I don't want to tell anybody about it yet. But I have a very exciting thing I want to make. So teaser. Sorry, I got distracted. I was getting excited thinking about all of the possibilities.
It's too many.
I forgot to keep loading these in. Exterior wall 2. So this one has, that's 12 sprite. Oh no, 16 sprites. This one's got 5. So when I was talking for a second ago about how when you're bringing in these tile sheets that you can actually have them sort of act as the same terrain, the way to do that is here. So we don't actually expose the ID. The ID has to be unique, but the name doesn't have to be unique. So what this means is that if you give these 2 different entries that are sort of separate terrains their own unique IDs but have the same name, and then you can change the tile properties, they'll actually look and feel to a player of your mod like the same terrain, even though they're not actually on the same sheet. So you'll see what I mean when we actually work with this. So I'll call this one Medieval Exterior 2. And then we have one more, which is, what's the last one? We got
Kyle, there's a question in chat for you.
Super Woodbeater Extreme Part 2 Turbo Edition. Wow. I am the very same Kyle. I know who that person is.
I don't catch that reference.
It's I'll have to share it for you. It was a game I made in college that was very silly. All right, I'm gonna add
It's not a great name.
I thought it was a good pun. In retrospect, I was very clearly 19. 4, 8, 9,
Can
10,
I
11.
make the airport level from THPS2?
You can sure as hell try. Roof. Yeah, it's
Let's get these in.
tactical skateboarding game. That's not been done. If someone wants to make the tactical, this is a great idea. I'm now thinking about this and I'm like, yeah. Because you could have because we have AP, so you have to spend AP to do tricks, but it's almost like you have to do a run and maybe somehow you score points with global supply or maybe that'll be the next stream, tactical skateboarding.
Tactical skateboarding.
Next stream series. I got to name this one.
We can make the most ridiculous things.
Medieval roof. Okay, so these are all loaded in now. That took longer because we were just having too much of a good time. Tony Hawk Tactics. Tony, if you're watching the stream, man, let us just hit me up.
Reach out to us.
Hit me up, man. Hit me up. THPT.
We got you.
Tony Hawk's Pro Skater Tactic. Yeah, that works. Okay. The reason we can flaff about here is because it just works. It'll just now be in. So the other cool thing, right now, when you're making a map in Cantata, it sort of assumes that you are going to want to use all of your loaded in mods. We're still trying to decide if that is a thing that will always be the case, or if it's something where when you make the mod, you will select the things that you want. I'm sort of leaning towards it's just always available. I'm thinking of what City Skylines does, or there's some other, I think The Sims does this too, or even I guess the Planet Coaster games. They just sort of dump everything on you, and then when you're saving the map, it'll just save the subset of the things that you use. All that to say though, I don't have to add my mods to my game explicitly to then use them on the map that I already created. So what's cool about it now is that I can just open up this map that I already saved and add in these new terrains, and that'll just work. There's no I have to make a new map that uses these new terrains. Every map has access to sort of everything that you want to use. So I'll load up this map. Oops, I messed something up. I think I might have missed a field here. Let's see. Dun, 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 dun. I just saw a bug. Where is my bug? I think I didn't save it. Is that what I didn't do? Let's see.
I don't.
Bugs happen. No, why are you giving me a bug? I'm breaking up the flow. Let me see what's going on. Any questions while we're debugging? Let's see. Dun, dun, dun. Dun, dun. It doesn't like something I gave it for some reason. 8, 9, 10, 11. So we loaded all of our terrains. We loaded them all here. These are all set. These all have the right names.
What's that error you're seeing?
It's just the one that occurs when it can't find the terrain sometimes. What if I make a new map? Maybe that'll work. Oh, I think, did I change the name of something? I think I changed the name and now it's mad at me. Oh well. Well, we can start over. It's very quick, which is the nice part, yeah. So I'm just gonna
You
clear
can also
out this
just keep
map.
building here, yeah.
Yeah. Listen, there's bugs. It's a video game, you know. It happens. All right. So clear that up. All right. So let's add back in that that wall you had, or this. Let's do that little trick again here. So I will place down a really big. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, HiCat says having a menu to enable and disable a mod might help organize a bit if you have lots of tile sets, unless something's already possible with the tile set menu.
Yeah, I think what we'll probably do is I think of like what the Sims does, where you sort of click the thing inside the bottom of a map so that you can select the like piece of furniture you want to use. I think we'd have something similar here, where inside these terrains they're basically filtered. Right now, there's no additional tagging or whatever. You can sort of see what that would look like here, where we tag stuff differently. So there might be like inside this thing, it's like there's a tag that says like medieval or something, and there's some way to like filter and parse those. I'm actually rebuilding this scenario editor as a large part of the work that I'm doing this week. So some of that stuff I'm really considering is like, how do you make dealing with like potentially a ton of like hundreds of terrains much easier, because yeah, just scrolling on a big on a big list isn't the best. I'm just gonna add more of these little guys. And oops, that was the wrong tile. So I'll make that, and then I'm gonna add this one. Just gonna mix it up again, and this one, mix that up again, and then we'll add our little
road, yeah.
Actually, I could just do a bigger. There we go.
Oh, nice.
Much easier.
Can randomize that again. I kind of like these this golden tile. It makes me think of a wheat field. We can maybe put some trees.
Oh, like a little tree-lined path?
Or like an orchard, yeah.
Yeah. I also want to point out we said we're gonna do it for an hour. I think we're just gonna play this out. We'll put these tiles in and we'll sort of wrap up the stream, and then we'll do another one either next week or the week after. We're not super sure. We kind of have to, it's up to, we have to actually make the game and then everything else. So, we'll see. But I think we got enough stuff here to do some pretty cool things. So,
yeah,
right.
Definitely.
Do you want to add some trees in here? You just mentioned adding, yeah.
Just a few trees, and then we can start with the walls.
Yeah. And you can see here too, it's not like these tile sets are mutually exclusive. So it's not like, oh, well, I'm using these medieval tiles, so I can only use this set. Everything can sort of be combined, which can be really interesting because it gives you the ability to like come up with interesting combinations where like in one tile sheet, this thing might have meant it was supposed to be something else. And then you now are using it in your map and you sort of changed it into being some other random thing. I'm just going to add a little forest around here just so it feels like
Nice.
we can fix that up a little bit. All right. Walls.
Let's do it.
Okay. I want to bring up actually the in open game art, wherever that went. So they basically stack the walls sort of high. Oh, these are meant to be like little
Windows.
yeah. So maybe let's like build the exterior wall first, and then we can sort of place different things in there.
Yeah.
So I'll bring that.
And it looks like there's a pizza oven outside one of the One of the houses.
I'm just gonna do it really rough. So maybe it's like a little big boy. Thick wall. How do they do tall walls actually? Now I'm like,
I think we might run into some problems just with the way the isometric map is set up with
yeah.
Cantata. Because right now that wall would be going behind.
Oh, right, have to be stacked.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, because theirs is sorted differently. Yeah. Well, would it work on the side here? Oops. Put it there. No, because it has to be like on top. Yeah, because their sorting is sort of opposite of what ours is a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, it's not the end of the world. We can still do fun things.
Yes.
This
You want to get some height variation in that wall?
Do I ever?
Do you want?
I would love some height variation in this wall. Maybe we'll like add this like. These are sort of more cut in. This reminds me of looking at there's like this dwarf fortress renderer that like renders your maps. And it looks very much like this. It's called Stone Sense. So these are more like a little gradiated. It's like an arena or something.
Mm-hmm.
And then do like a final level.
It's looking pretty good.
It does. It feels it's a little noisy. I feel like we need to. If we didn't have just an hour to do this, we'd probably clean it up just a little bit. But.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
All right, let's put a house down. Let's slap a house down.
Just slap one down. So we could do like I guess the question is where do they sit? It feels like they actually want to be like next to these walls over here. So maybe I'll put that over there and then, oops, I'll like make these sort of lower where the houses are at. It's almost like it carved out a little place.
Mm-hmm. Can you zoom in a bit?
Oh yeah.
Get some nice
I'm just like, I'm
details.
looking at it like so far away. I forget I can just pop in. Then we want to add, let's see. Another thing I want to add is that when you place down tiles, you can actually rotate them. So right now, or flip them. Right now, when you place down stuff, it has to be the orientation that's in the sprite. But what I'd like to do is like be able to take this tile and flip it so it's on its other end. But it's not the end of the world. And so I can actually sort of hack these to make little longer walls here, maybe like that. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Should we do the roof? The roof is always magic when it happens. It's always sort of like a little bit of guesswork. So I think like here.
I think.
Nope.
No. Oh.
Where'd it go? Oh, I think what we realized when we tested this the first time, we kind of have to do the roofs first.
Right, yeah.
Because it's like the way isometric stuff works, it can be really easy to, we're sort of tricking your eye a little bit. So if you want to do some of these more complex tall shapes, it's worth trying to, and you'll see what we mean. So if I like grab this roof here and place this like this, it looks like it's on the ground because it sort of is. But when I come here and do this, oh, is that the wrong roof tile?
No, I think it's because the wall actually doesn't go all the way up to the top of the
Oh, it's on the
64 by 64.
Oh
so...
no, it's on the wrong.
Oh no.
It's because this tile is too tall.
Yeah,
there we go.
Ah! Hey. We're carving out a house now.
There we go.
Look at that.
Yeah, it's like your brain, like it's weird. All of a sudden, you're like, oh, that's a house. But it's something with like just the isometric structure. It's sort of hard to. It makes more sense to build top down, especially because the way our map is sorted. Like this, people love this view, but if I zoom out here, oops.
Ooh, Kupanik, imagine making an MC Escher map. to play on, just all of the tricks
Oh yeah, that'd be
on your
whacked out.
brain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is trying to show you that the map is sorted so that it's really hard to see right now. But basically all the tiles, the ones that are further back are sort of like further back in a certain axis. So you have to think about it all in like a sort of weird overlapping way. All right, so I'll add in some more, a little house here. Oh no. Oh right, because we have to, I think we need those other tiles we haven't done yet.
Yeah. Unfortunately, they always have the wood on the other side.
Yeah. There's no just flat ones. So I'll just, these ones right here, right? Oh yeah, they have, I see what you're
Or
saying.
you
They've
maybe
got
you
the
could just
wood.
copy and paste some and get rid of the left-hand side.
Oh yeah. Or
You know what I'm, yeah.
I could also just change these to add in the stone. So if I, like, let's see. So if I just grab these here,
Hmm.
I'm actually worried we're going to encounter that same bug we had now, where the stuff wasn't loading. Let's see. Oh, I think I know it's, yeah, I don't want to try it. Oh well. I'm
But you
wondering,
can see, you can imagine.
you can just imagine what would happen. Just imagine. Just imagine. I'm wondering if we can like
Let's
change
do
it
it.
so that the like is there like a, because would this work? No. We need a tile that would fit on the outside, but doesn't have a wall. We could try to
I
do
don't
like
think
a
we made one of those yet.
bigger. We could just do the back side of it. We can make it a very small, tiny house. So we could do like a, if we take this wall off, we could do, is this the right tile? Huh? That's
Oh,
something.
it's something, yeah.
Oh, it's the wrong. And then you make the tile next
We just need
it.
to get rid of, yeah.
There you go. It's looking like a little house.
Nice. Yeah.
Ooh. Sorry, I gotta sneeze. What would be nice too is if we added something where you can sort of select a group of tiles and then like paste it like a stamp. So if we were to make like a little, like something like this, we could then basically allow you to sort of like color it in and then place it in other places along the map. That we don't have to like rebuild these structures, especially if you're doing stuff that's like these sort of more complicated things. You know, then it'd be easier to just paste them again. Let's see. Can we put this like spire here? Oops, wrong place. There.
Yes, and then get rid of
I think it'll
the,
work. Yeah.
flatten out those tiles. Makes-
Hey, there you go. That's
Nice.
something. Yeah.
Yeah, we're getting there.
Maybe there's like a little, and then you can just place. Yeah. And then you sort of like fill in around it so it feels like it's more proper. Oops. It's not good. You could add
Maybe
in some
put a
other
tree.
stuff. A tree, yeah. Making a little
More about that
vibe.
tree life. Yeah.
That's not bad. Maybe there's like a where's my road at? Here we go. There's like a little pathway. There.
Nice.
That's a map. That's a map. And so I mean, so we were really focusing in right on, this is like I don't know, this is like an 8x8 tile section. You know, this is a small map and we've got all this other space we could be building stuff on. And we actually can do maps that are like 10, 15 times as big as this. So if you like really, really, really wanted to build out some like crazy scene that's like a whole medieval town or something that you could like walk around in, that is like totally possible. We obviously don't have the time to do that on this stream, but you can see how you could really get in here and just tweak stuff. So, you know, we've got the brushes that allow you to work at like a really large scale really quickly, but then there's also the sort of tools in there that allow you to really quickly create these little scenes, like basically as fast as you can think of them. I want to add a little roof here.
And also in the future, what we have slated is this idea of a detail tile.
Mhm.
So that you can just add things on top of pre-existing tiles, like that tree. If you see at the bottom, there's some blue ground underneath it, but in the future you could just put that on top and it'll look like it's growing out of the stone.
Right,
The
right, right.
stone.
Yeah, and the idea is that basically we separate the actual ground from the thing that's on the ground. So some stuff will have it where, like things like actual, like we have this little road tile here, instead of actually having it where it's got the sort of ground baked into the tile, we'd make it so that you can basically place that road on anything, and then that would allow you to actually change the characteristics of the tile that it's on. And I'm just gonna, we don't really have any good medieval units right now, and I'm just gonna throw, we'll just throw like this little unit on this tile here. I forget what I called the map.
I think you called it medieval.
All right, I'll save it again. And so now if I go back into the game, there we are, playing on our map. Oh, it didn't save that.
Just like that.
Yeah. So
We're kind of, yeah.
I don't know,
It's a good, it's a vibe. It's a vibe. It doesn't even look like Cantata.
yeah, no, it's like we're now playing in, like I said, tactical medieval situation game. But yeah, so that's like, I think that will basically do it for this stream. So we just like to review. We showed you what it meant to, well, like what tiles in general, how they worked inside the game. We showed you how to find tiles like from the internet and just pull them in. We showed you how to slice those up in forms that Cantata likes and can like eat and love and be delicious. And then we showed you how to just put those on a map, as well as some of the sort of the brush system inside the scenario editor stuff. So I don't want to end it quite yet, but if anyone has any sort of questions, I can go check. We got Steam open, we got YouTube open, we got Twitch open. If anyone has any sort of final questions before we wrap up the stream, we'd love to hear what you all have to say. And I'm just gonna go look
Yeah,
around.
and thank you for joining. Even if you don't have any questions, we're super happy that you're here.
Yeah. Let's see. I'll give it a few more seconds. I just talk about what we'll do next time too. So next stream, what we'll do is I think we'll probably talk a little bit more about actual characteristics of terrain, and maybe we'll focus a little more on like placing things. We'll talk about like weights and capacities and vision costs and explore ranges and stuff like that, just so you have a better understanding. This stream was very much focused around producing art for the game, so it was less sort of focused on gameplay. So for the next stream, what we might do is we might try to come up with a situation that can use this tile set that we imported, and then build a situation on a map that mimics that using some of those characteristics that we talked about. So yeah, I think that'll probably be the goal for the next stream. Everyone seems pretty chill, so yeah. So I think what we'll do is we'll wrap up the stream here. Thank you everyone for stopping by to watch. If you're watching on YouTube, leave us a comment below on the video. We can respond to it. We'll try to get to any outstanding questions that came up from this in later streams. But yeah, I don't know. Anything else you want to say, Rogue?
Yeah, no, just if you leave a comment, Kyle or I will get back to you. Just super excited to put this out into the world.
Yeah.
Can't wait to see what everyone's going to do with it.
Yeah. So